Money FM 89.3, best of breakfast. Mind your business, only on Money FM 89.3.
Yes, it's time to mind your business on The Breakfast Show with me, Audrey Siek. And today we talk about payments. Now, we've all come to expect it to be always smooth and instant, right? Whether we're booking a hotel in Bangkok, topping up a wallet in Dubai, or shopping online in Japan. But the reality behind that frictionless moment is far more complex. In Asia, that complexity multiplies. You've got real-time bank transfers in Indonesia, QR codes here in Singapore, super apps in China and India, and every one of us expects it all to just work. From powering millions of transactions in India to setting up shop in Singapore and expanding across APAC and the Middle East, Juspay is a payments infrastructure player on a mission to simplify the chaos. So how do they actually do that? And what does modern payment orchestration really mean today? Let's find out and welcome on to the show Nakul Kothari, head of APAC and Middle East at Juspay. Nakul, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be on the show.
It's great to have you on, Nakul. So let's start with this study by LexisNexis Risk Solutions found that almost half of businesses say failed payments are driving up costs and creating more manual work. So let's start with, why does the travel industry in particular seem to struggle with payment failures, sometimes as high as 50%?
Sure. Unlike modern e-commerce platforms, majority of the travel systems are built on legacy infrastructure that aren't meant for kind of today's world of mobile payments. So if I talk about travel systems infrastructure, it's a very complex infrastructure with multiple disjointed systems intertwined into each other. So for example, a single transaction has to go through multiple hops, from travel players to GDS to PSPs to acquirers. So there are multiple hops, and because of these multiple hops, the chances of transactions getting dropped are very high. And then you add it to it that majority of the transactions for travel businesses are international transactions, which in general are prone to high declines because of poor fraud controls or bad routing decisions. And then a travel business also does not, in most likelihood, does not provide payment preference to customers in form of local payment methods. So a combination of all these major factors leads to very high payment failures, particularly in travel businesses.
Okay, so beyond these lost sales, how do failed payments hit travel companies in other ways, like customer trust, brand loyalty, or back-end inefficiencies?
Yeah, see, payment failures will affect travel businesses like they affect any other industry. So any industry or any business, they spend a lot of time in acquiring a customer, and it becomes very irrelevant if they just lose the customer at the last step of payments. So along with the lost revenue is one thing, right? Lost revenue definitely there because the customer has dropped out. So along with the lost revenue, it also leads to operational overhead. For example, it increases your customer support queries, refunds processes, chargeback processes, etc. And to make it worse, right, it's such a competitive world that a failed payment can push your customer to your competitor. And if the customer likes your the competitor payment experience, they might never return back to your website. It's a permanent loss, and more so because the customer does not know what is going behind the scenes. Like, is it the failure is because of the bank or the payment partner, or what is the behind the scene processes? For them, they will blame the loss on the business. So it also leads to a reputational loss. You would have seen like many customers will just tweet on Twitter, right, that, okay, I was transacting on this website and the payments are not going through. So it's a kind of a reputational loss also for the brand.
Yeah. So do most businesses actually realize how much they're losing to these failed or clunky payment flows? Or is it one of those hidden leaks that goes unnoticed until it's kind of too late?
So I would say it's kind of it's a hidden leak for all these players, right? And I don't think they realize that the leak is happening. So for example, they might track the overall bookings and revenue, but seldom would they look into the payment failures. And even if they know the failure rate, right, they won't have real-time visibility into drop-offs. So this means that they can't fix the issues, be it if a customer is dropping because of a broken 3 days experience, or the customer is dropping because of acquirer issues, or the customer dropping because of lack of payment mix. So until unless they understand the core issues, they will not be able to fix it.
Okay, so now let's bring Juspay into the mix. You guys are not just a payment gateway. You handle things like orchestration and fraud checks and more. So what is Juspay's, core mission, and how do you fit into the global payments puzzle?
See, Juspay, of course, we are a payment orchestration platform, right? By virtue of payment orchestration platform, we are integrated very closely in the payment ecosystem. We have done integrations with all the acquirers, local payment methods across the world. But specifically for travel businesses, right, we have moved beyond the payment orchestration and build a travel orchestration platform. So the first step in building a travel orchestration platform is to develop partnerships and build integrations with key players in the travel ecosystem area like GDS providers or IATA or FRM providers, acquirers, schemes, etc. So we have done integrations with all these players. So now just imagine that there's any travel business, they want to go live or they want to expand into multiple geographies. Instead of working with 15, 20 partners, they just need to work with Juspay as a single infrastructure provider, right? Next, let's say while routing the transactions, which are the common core of payment orchestration, we send very specific airline or hotel specific data to underlying issuers. So like what are the routes that airline is having, what are the customer details, what are the hotel booking details, etc. So these are called L2, L3 data. This helps in reducing the risk of transactions and ultimately improving the authorization rates. And lastly, we have built very specific payment workflows that can create a very, very seamless payment experiences for end customers, either while they're booking a travel or airline booking or they're booking like a hotel rooms, etc. Right? So for example, let's say once you book a ticket on an airline website, right? In addition to booking a ticket, you might also book a visa or you might also book a cab booking. So with Juspay, for businesses, they can do multiple level of bookings, and in the backend, we take care of all the relevant settlement to the relevant parties.
Okay.
So in a way, we have built a travel orchestration platform that is very much suited for travel businesses, and kind of we are redefining, like I told in the earlier segment, right, that travel businesses are built on legacy infrastructure. We are redefining that legacy infrastructure and making sure that the travel businesses can accept payments in the today's world of mobile payments.
All right. So we have so many payment options now, right? We have buy now, pay later. We have wallets, banking apps, QR codes. How do you help merchants avoid, duplication and find the right mix for their customers in each market?
First of all, it depends on market to market, right? So some markets will have very high local preferences of using a payment method, and some markets which are very mature in nature, they will rely much heavily on cards. So we understand the customer dynamics on a market to market level. For example, if you consider South Asia, right? South Asia comprises of six major countries, right? And each of these countries are very different from each other. And there is a lot of prevalence of local payment methods in each of these countries. So for any travel businesses, we first identify which are the countries that they are operating in or they're looking to operate in. Then we identify the local preferences in these markets, because it is very essential to give local payment methods to your end customers. So just imagine, let's say if it's a Japanese some airline, right, and they're looking to expand in Indonesia or Thailand or Malaysia. First of all, if you are not giving local preference to customers, then why would a customer transact on Japanese airlines? Right? Because customers wants to relate to the payment experience, and if it's a new brand which is not known in the market, on top of that, you are not giving local payment person, then the chances that a customer is booking on your website is very less. So with Juspay, we take care of all these things. We already have the integrations with all the payment partners across these countries. So we help understand the data of the airline business or the travel business, understand their countries of operation, and then we work with them to provide them the best localized payment experience.
Okay, well, Nakul, we're almost out of time, but we just want to talk about your expansion into Singapore after raising $60 million in Series D funding. Can you tell us Juspay's plan for the region and why Singapore is such a strategic hub for you guys?
So how it all started, right? So Juspay, we are already like a major payment orchestration platform in India market. And initially there were many Indian brands who expanded to Singapore or Southeast Asia market, and we were supporting their payments. So while working with those Indian brands, we realized that, okay, Singapore and by corollary Southeast Asia and North Asia, South Asia markets are such a complex market with multiple countries, multiple local payment methods, highly diversified market, which has regulatory requirements in each country. And this kind of fits a perfect recipe where Juspay's orchestration can add value. So we decided that, okay, right now we are helping our Indian brands process payments in those geographies. Why don't we position our product so that we can create a value for the actual merchants who are operating in those countries? And then we decided to make Singapore as our hub, because most of the headquarters of companies who are operating in Southeast Asia and APAC, their headquarters are in more or less Singapore market. So we decided to make Singapore as our hub. From Singapore, right now we have an office in Singapore. We have our employees in Singapore that are helping us expand to Southeast Asia and the broader APAC market as well.
All right. Well, whether you're running a travel brand or shopping online, one thing is clear. Smooth payments aren't just nice to have. They are mission critical. And that was Nakul Kothari, head of APAC and Middle East at Juspay, giving us a behind the scenes look at the complex world of payments. Nakul, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. It was my pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. Stay with us here on Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.